What is going on, Eagles Nation? You will not believe the incredible behind-the-scenes moment that just surfaced involving our star quarterback and one of his biggest critics in the media. It is a situation that proves exactly why our leader is built differently, but it also brings up some heavy questions about the intense pressure he is facing this offseason. Are the rumors about his future and his playing style just noise, or is there more to this drama than we thought? You need to hear this, so hit that subscribe button right now to stay updated on everything Eagles. Jalen Hurts stands at the center of an intense narrative in 2026, balancing immense achievements with persistent outside criticism that follows him every single year. Despite his massive trophy cabinet and undeniable success, the Eagles' signal caller consistently finds his game under the microscope. Recent discussions have shifted toward a bizarre, personal interaction between Hurts and ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky at an Eagles Autism Foundation golf event. While Orlovsky was a vocal critic throughout the 2024 season, questioning the effectiveness of the passing game, their encounter at Marion revealed a different side of the quarterback. Orlovsky shared how Hurts interacted with his autistic son Madden, who had created a comic book featuring the star. With Orlovsky standing just feet away, Hurts playfully looked him in the eyes and remarked that if he was good enough for the comic, the analyst needed to be nicer on television. This moment highlights the human side of a player who has spent his career silencing skeptics on the field. Hurts famously proved his critics wrong during the 2024 playoffs, delivering stellar performances in the NFC Championship game against the Washington Commanders, and then reaching the pinnacle of the sport by winning the Super Bowl MVP against the Kansas City Chiefs. These performances forced a public apology from Orlovsky, who admitted he had been far too harsh regarding the quarterback's passing abilities. Through 5 seasons as a starter, the numbers tell a story of consistent production, totaling nearly 17,000 yards and 104 touchdowns. He has earned 3 Pro Bowl nods and led this team to 2 Super Bowl appearances in that span. As we navigate the 2026 offseason, the conversation has morphed into scrutiny regarding his creative approach and supposed coachability. Despite the noise, he remains our leader, and we are ready to fly Eagles fly. Why does this matter right now for the team? The ongoing debate regarding Jalen Hurts' passing mechanics and his ability to operate within an offensive system carries significant weight as we look toward the future of our franchise. While some anonymous reports from around the league have labeled him as uncoachable or lacking in offensive creativity, the organization remains committed to the man who brought a championship back to Philadelphia. This discourse matters because it impacts the perceived stability of our offensive leadership. When analysts like Dan Orlovsky separate the facts from opinions, the reality remains that Hurts ranks in the top tier of statistical categories across the league since becoming the starter in 2021. However, the narrative that he might not be a top 16 pure passer if isolated from other elements of his game creates a complex environment for the coaching staff. This matters because it influences public perception and the external pressure mounted on the team during the offseason. Despite these persistent critiques, Hurts is securely signed through the 2028 season, meaning the franchise is locked into his specific skill set for the foreseeable future. The team must now reconcile the opinions of external critics with the proven production that led us to a Super Bowl victory. Understanding this balance is vital, as it frames the expectations for the upcoming season and dictates how the offensive strategy will be perceived by both the fans and the media. The consistency of his performance on the biggest stages remains the primary defense against these claims of uncoachability. We see the facts and we see the results on the field, which continue to contradict the negative labels being applied by those outside the building. This is the reality of being a star in the city, where the pressure to excel never truly subsides. The debate surrounding Jalen Hurts often ignores the sheer volume of his contributions, focusing instead on subjective evaluations of his playing style. Orlovsky's recent comments underscore this divide, acknowledging that while Hurts is objectively one of the most successful players in the game, there is a loud contingent that remains unsatisfied with the passing element of his play. This narrative of the uncoachable player is a specific, recent development during this 2026 offseason that threatens to overshadow his actual record. It is important to note that this is not just about one critic. It is a broader league-wide discussion that has surfaced in various reports. The Eagles, however, have seen firsthand that when the lights are brightest, the quarterback delivers. The 2024 playoff run served as the ultimate evidence of his capability, particularly when he registered 3 rushing scores against Washington and dominated the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. These events are not distant memories. They are the foundation upon which his current contract and status are built. When Orlovsky says that the opinion of many is that the passing game is lacking, he is highlighting a conflict between statistical reality and subjective quarterback evaluation. This tension is exactly what makes the 2026 offseason so noisy. For the fan base, the focus remains on the fact that we have a quarterback who has proven he can win the ultimate prize. The criticism regarding his creative decisions or his willingness to change plays in real time is often framed as a negative. Yet it is that same improvisation that has been a hallmark of his success since he took the reins. We are watching a unique situation unfold, where a Super Bowl winner is still being asked to prove himself to those who prioritize a traditional pocket passing profile over his actual proven performance. Looking specifically at the 2026 timeline, the status of Jalen Hurts is firmly cemented by his contract, which runs through the 2028 season. While the ESPN report suggesting league-wide skepticism about his creativity and adherence to coaching might generate headlines, it does not alter the fundamental reality of the Eagles roster. The organization has invested heavily in his leadership, and the results, 1 Super Bowl win and 2 appearances, are difficult to argue with for any objective observer. This specific criticism about changing plays has become a focal point of the current media cycle, yet it fails to acknowledge the autonomy often granted to elite quarterbacks who understand the flow of a game. By analyzing the statements from Dan Orlovsky, we see a clear attempt to navigate this balance between facts and popular opinion. Orlovsky's admission that he was wrong about Hurts in 2024 is a vital reminder of how quickly narratives can shift based on playoff performance. If we look at the quarterback's career arc, he has continuously managed to overcome these specific critiques by performing well on the biggest stages. The discussion about his placement among the top 16 quarterbacks in the league is a hypothetical exercise that holds little weight when compared to his actual achievements. We know that in Philly, the expectations are always high, and the scrutiny of the passing game will likely continue until the next championship is secured. For now, the facts are clear. The team has its franchise player, and he is preparing for another season with the same drive that brought him to this point. The debate serves as a distraction from the upcoming challenges, but the reality is that we are moving forward with the same core that has defined this era. The commitment from the front office is unwavering, and we remain focused on the goals ahead. Ultimately, the story of Jalen Hurts in 2026 is one of a player whose resume is constantly challenged by the subjective criteria of those outside the team. Whether he is being criticized for his passing efficiency or his supposed lack of coachability, the quarterback has consistently responded with production. The golf course incident with Dan Orlovsky and his son Madden provides a rare, grounded moment in the middle of a very intense professional debate. It reminds everyone that behind the stats, the MVP awards, and the harsh television analysis, there is a person leading this team. As we look at the upcoming season, the Eagles are positioned to continue their journey with a quarterback who has already achieved what most only dream of. The criticism regarding his passing mechanics or his approach to the offensive system will surely continue as long as he is under center, as that is the nature of the position in this market. However, the facts remain static. 104 touchdowns, 3 Pro Bowl selections, and a Super Bowl victory are the defining markers of his tenure here. The team is not in a position to be swayed by external opinions or reports about his creativity. Instead, the focus remains on leveraging his unique talents to compete for another title. The contract through 2028 ensures that this debate will likely be a permanent fixture of our discussions, but it also provides the stability needed to build around him. For us, the supporters, the objective is simple: to stand behind the player who has proven himself time and time again. Thank you for following along with this deep dive into the status of our quarterback. If you want to keep up with everything happening with the team and hear more analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next update.